WWE Mixed Tag Team Wish List. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers and talk about some wrestling, huh?
Man's so excited. He's stumbling over his words.
Mm-hmm.
With the mixed tag match coming up at Bash at Berlin, we talked about, hey, what mixed tag teams do we want to see? Whether it's just a, hey, I think this would be really cool, or they should totally do this, or bring back the mixed tag challenge. Why
exactly. I was about to say, long gone are the days of the mixed tag team challenge, which we both very much agreed back in the day when they did that tournament. A lot of fun stuff that just happened like after Raws.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they film it and just put it on Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was pretty much it. But they shot a lot of like promos on Twitter and stuff like that, which was really cool to see different interactions and people that you wouldn't think like, oh, that person's tagged with this person.
It really felt like random pairings, but it was a lot of fun. And with the tag team mixed tag coming up, like you just said, we were going to do our little wish list on mixed tag teams that we would like to see if they ever brought back a mixed tag team challenge. Would you like to go first or me?
I'm taking the first one here.
You're stealing mine. The obvious one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with it. Bianca Belair, Montez Ford.
Son of a bitch.
It just writes itself.
I'm the Montez Ford guy.
That's why I took it. That's why I took it and I made it my number one.
I'm the number one fan.
So you think about it. I mean, we talk about random pairings. That one's obviously not random. You could tag all the couples together, just do a tournament of that. That would be really cool. But in terms of a team that can go, I mean, just athletic as all hell, just strong, fast. Montez's leaping ability. I mean, for her to hit, let's say she could pick somebody up, hit a KOD on the guy, and then Montez frog splash. Boom.
Yeah, I'm convinced that they haven't done a mixed tag team challenge again because these two exist. I mean, who's beating them? Absolutely freaking nobody. I could see a spot in which Bianca military presses Montez and throws him out of the ring at somebody. They would be that good. They are built in a lab and built for each other, and they would put on they would be the best mixed tag team in the history of all of professional wrestling, period. It would, bar none. It would just, not much else to say, man.
Nope.
That's how good they'd be.
Nope. But I'm glad I got the first choice.
Yeah. I'm glad I got the first choice. I had one. Two people who have kind of been, I would say, looked at by most of wrestling fans as the weak link of their factions. Dakota Kai and JD McDonough. That would be a good-ass mixed tag team, and you know it. Both of those two can absolutely go in the ring. Speaking of people who could do it, JD is a very underutilized talent, especially in the single space, because he puts on shows in the single space. Michael Cole tries to hype him up whenever he's in the ring, and for good reason, because whenever he's in the ring, it's good stuff. Same thing with Dakota Kai. I mean, WWE fandom has been begging for her to get out of that damage control for at least the last few months, since Mania, maybe before it, because everybody can see her potential and her passion in the business. And I just think that if a match would ever spawn and these two would get in the ring together, it'd be a match made in heaven. Yeah,
I think Dakota Kai, there's not much more that needs to be said. I will say for JD, it's nice to see a lot of people online at least really start to like JD. So that's awesome to see.
Yep.
My second one, you talk about who could beat Montez Ford and Bianca Belair in a mixed tag match. Well, that's kind of who I thought when I picked my second one. So I went with Jade Cargill and Braun Breaker.
Oh, Lord.
Just for the sense of just two muscle jacked wrestlers are going to go in. They're going to destroy and run roughshod over the whole division.
How would the entrance work?
I don't know.
He would do the roar and it would zoom in on his face and she'd be flexing. Like, which one are we zooming in on?
Both?
We get
They have enough cameras. They can do both.
We get the red zone guy in there to do a quad box.
Scott Hansen?
Yeah, Scott Hansen.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think we'd talk about him today. But
I would have never thought about that tag team, but the second you said it, they'd be an absolute terror. I mean,
they usually have like one tag team in there that's just like powerhouses, and that's when I think powerhouses right now. That's who I think of.
Yeah, I agree. We'll go on to another one here. I had Jade as well, but I went with Jade and Jey Uso. Jade and Jay, first off, you can see the shirt right now, right? Jade and Jay, you can see the shirt. You all know it.
There's a yeet storm coming.
Talk about two people who share very similar qualities in terms of the criticisms that they both face. People that are both very over, yet leaving a lot of wrestling fans wanting more in terms of their in-ring abilities, right? They could build each other up easily. They complement each other in terms of their looks, like the very blue, bright gears. I just think it'd be a match made in heaven.
Yeah. So I went with another pairing here that I feel like we're going to see, or maybe we have seen, but I don't really remember. I went with Otis and Maxine.
Of course.
Just because you need that babyface tag team in a tournament style. Yeah, his dove, exactly. They can both do the caterpillar. I mean, I know they've been out there together, but why not give it to us again? Like I said, I think they've tagged before. Give it to us again. Why not?
Yeah, of course.
It's enjoyable.
Of course. We'll go with another one. So we've already done. So you just said Otis, and you just said Otis and Maxine. We've already said Bianca and Montez. So those are like either real couples or people who have been on screen a lot. So the obvious one would be Tiffany and Ludwig, but I went away from that. I was like, okay, let's separate Tiffany and Ludwig because I know they're a real life couple. So who would match Tiffy? Who would match the selfishness?
I hope it's who I put on my list.
Carmelo Hayes.
Oh,
who did you have?
Oh, anyway, go ahead. I'll speak my next. You go ahead.
I mean, she is the most stuck up, selfish goddess, right? That's her whole gimmick. The only person who she's kneeling to is Nia right now, and we all know that's because eventually that Money in the Bank is going to turn into a big old shiny knight that she stabs into her back. And Carmelo walks around saying that he's him, and they both are kind of, bright lights. I don't know why the word glitter is coming to my head, but they're very flashy, and I just think their movesets in the ring would be phenomenal together. I mean, legitimate, like her and the prettiest moonsault ever, and him with literally everything he does off the top rope. That would be a match made in heaven.
That's fair. I had both of them on my list with different people. So you say Tiffany. Who did I have Tiffany with? You said she's pretty annoying, right? She's really good in the ring. She's kind of overbearing. People are like, please get off my screen. Give me Tiffany and Logan Paul.
Oh, hell yeah.
I thought about
that one better.
I like that because I'm like, God, these two would be so annoying that it would be perfect.
They should do the Dom Liv thing where, they both have relationships in real life, but they should do a kayfabe relationship on screen. That'd be nuts. They would be top tier annoying.
Just something like that where they're together on screen. Like, yeah, we have gotten Logan fatigue, and I understand why. We were upset because he wasn't on TV. What better way to have him on TV with somebody who, I mean, a lot of people love Tiffany, but a lot of people are also like, man, she's really annoying. Same thing with Logan Paul. You were talking about her in ring, how prettiest moonsault ever. Buckshot lariat. I mean, he hits it better than anybody in the business. His frog splash. I mean, just his acrobatics in the ring. I feel like goes perfect with her.
He's absolutely no slouch in the ring. Like we can disrespect, his title reign and everything, and you are completely right if you do so. But you're not going to disrespect his in ring because, I mean, third title defense. But my lord, was it fun to watch
every time? Yeah. As much as I don't like, the infrequency on TV. I'm like, God, he needs to be on TV. Every time that bell rings, I'm like, man, he can go every time. Every single time.
This one, I just felt like it fits too well. The King and Queen, Gunther and Nia. Put them in you talk about a team that could go up against Montez and Bianca, and now you said Braun Breaker and Jade. Gunther and Nia have every single right to be in that conversation. It obviously just makes sense story-wise, King and Queen of the Ring. It just, there's not much else to say. They are both very slow, methodical. They play their strength. That's their whole game. It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, and so I guess somebody to maybe counteract that would be my Carmelo pick. So I went with Carmelo Hayes and Io Sky, just from the sense of it's kind of an odd pairing, kind of unlikely, like we were talking about.
Dude, the promos would be hilarious because he'd be like, "What are you saying?"
Yeah, you wouldn't really understand that part of it.
It'd be like, didn't Asuka and Miz do that sort of thing?
Asuka and Riddle.
Was it Asuka and Riddle?
Yeah.
Didn't they do that sort of thing?
Because Riddle goes, I don't know what you're talking about, and then he scooters off the screen. Talk about a max tag team that never was. Maybe that one. But Io Sky can go in the ring. Carmelo can absolutely go in the ring as well. The mixed tag, for as well as those Twitter promos were that they had, like, you can obviously reshoot those, do whatever you want with those, but the matches themselves were really good.
Yeah.
We got some really good wrestling out of it. I feel like those two are great to pencil in for some good wrestling.
Oh, for sure. I completely agree with you. One that I want to see, our guy who is coming back up and has had sort of these two have had a sort of alike gimmick. When I say it, it'll make a little bit more sense.
Karrion Kross.
No. He's not on the. He's far away from the list. Please don't click off. I know he said Karrion Kross. Please don't. I want Lyra Valkyria and Baron Corbin.
Okay.
And you're like, how are their gimmicks the same? I mean, for the first freaking years of his career, he was doing the whole wolf thing.
Mm-hmm.
He still did the wolf pack with Braun, and she's the bird, which is fine. But I mean, I could already see the Tron, right, with the wolf with the bird in the background. I think that they would both just. I mean, we say it with everybody in this. Is the reason we put them on the list is that they complement each other. But I think their gimmicks would just complement each other. I just think that they just have the same vibe to me when I see them. When I see Lyra come out, and then I remember how Baron Corbin used to come out. It's just as like those are on a parallel path right there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I didn't put this on my list, but as you're talking about like alike people, I think maybe like a Sonya Deville and maybe like a Bronson Reed. Something that's in your face.
I was trying my best to find a match for her.
I was trying my best to find one for him. So why not put them together? They're kind of smash mouth. I would have maybe picked him and Nia. Maybe they kind of have similar movesets, but you always have those big kind of dominant heels. And Sonya's really good. While she's not maybe like a big heel, her style is. She really attacks people. Bronson can just run over anybody in the ring. That's maybe somebody just off the top of my head, but that's maybe a first round exit in this tournament. You know?
If I was going to pair Bronson Reed, I'd do it with Piper Niven. I think they have very similar movesets. They both are sneakily athletic for their size. I feel like that would work really well.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's from Australia. She's from Scotland. You know how WWE loves to throw foreign wrestlers together, even if they're not from the same country. They're just like, here you go.
Yeah. I had one more down on my list that I wanted to say. I think she would have to come back as the princess, or not the princess. What was Alexa Bliss? She was the when she was doing the whole behind
the sparkle and the goddess.
The Empress,
the goddess,
goddess. Yeah. It was the goddess. I want her to come back as her goddess role, and I think she'd pair perfectly with Grayson Waller. That would just be their attitudes are so similar in terms of just being above everybody and kind of just wiping everybody off. It would just that'd be must see for me.
Yeah. I mean, why not give him a shot? I'm gonna go with one. Well, I guess I have two more then because there's one I wrote down and one that I'm just thinking of right off the top of my head. The last one I wrote down was Howdy and Abby the Witch. I feel like that's just kind of a no-brainer. I wouldn't really want to see them in maybe like a mixed tag setting, but it would be nice to see her kind of be with Howdy and kind of pair that because we haven't really seen Howdy, how he directs people in the ring. That debut that they had, it was him and her by the chair and they sat together. So maybe that could bring some interesting dynamics to the Wyatt Six. I don't know why I wrote that down, but is what it is. And then the last one is a blast from the past that they've been on TV before, but it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to bring it back. She's not even on TV right now, but give me R-Truth and Carmella. I miss those times.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. Don't get me wrong.
Why not James Ellsworth?
Lots of reasons why. R-Truth and Carmella, I feel like that kind of speaks for itself. They were great together on TV, and we talk a lot lately about how, hey, we don't really get some of those funny skits anymore, or funny times. And I know some people are like, God, those funny skits are terrible. I don't like those. But every once in a while, you just need to laugh at something. Like 100%. Otis at SummerSlam, where he shaved his stomach with Manscaped. Some people didn't like that. I thought it was a nice little laugh.
Of course, you could do R-Truth and Maxine as well. They would just have no idea what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. R-Truth has to make an appearance somewhere in this tournament. So
yeah, I
keep saying tournament like we're booking it, but that's
that might be an idea for another video.
Who knows?
Yeah. So let us know if you like this type of stuff. Let us know if what kind of mixed tag teams you would like to see if they ever came back and made it a mixed tag team tournament. And maybe we'll take some of the best names out of what we've said, and maybe some in the comments, and maybe we'll do a little bit of a tournament there and see what we think, who comes out on top.
Yeah, and feel free to also give your tag teams a name. I like to look at tag team names. So
we should have given them names.
That would we're not creative enough.
No, we're definitely not.
We would have came up with something like the Pure Fusion Collective.
What an awful name. Oh, anyway, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at Spotify, Apple, etc. And join our Discord. Post your mixed tag teams in there.
Yeah.
Talk to us on Raw. Talk to us about SmackDown. Get in there and start chatting. We absolutely love it. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.